At the beginning of the film, we see a group of teenagers drinking in the evening around a campfire. They tell each other details about the life of the butcher, a local criminal who has massacred many people. The man began his gruesome activities in the 90s but has since disappeared. One of the boys goes to his friend Ginny's house and sees an unusual part of her father's collection, a strange dagger. The weapon, called La Dola, is in a glass case. The guy decides to go down to the basement to find something to open the box. While wandering between the rows of sculptures, a guy stumbles upon some wine bottles and drops one of them when he hears a noise. He is angry, believing that his friend Sandra made the noise. The guy is picking up the shards when he is suddenly attacked by Butcher, whose face is hidden by a mask. The man, rather sophisticated, massacres the guy with the help of a bottle of wine. After that, the Butcher finds Sandra in the toilet and destroys her right there. Meanwhile, Ginny, having had fun with her boyfriend, goes into the house. The girl's lover takes his life because of a tennis racket. Ginny hides in a wardrobe and hears her parents arrive. She runs to them, but the Butcher catches up with her. Having dealt with Ginny, the man steals La Dole's dagger. The action shifts to the main character. Millie wakes up to an alarm clock and goes downstairs to get breakfast before school. The character is very nice and shy and stays away from school parties. Her sister Charlene, who dislikes their mother, thinks that Millie needs to be more brave. The girl then go to school. Her friends Nyla and Josh think they need to go to the next party. Nyla asks the girl to think more about herself so that, in time, she won't regret that her best years were spent constantly taking care of her mom. Josh also wants Millie to go to a party because there will be a guy named Broker there who she likes very much. During the class, the girl is being pressed hard by her teacher, Mr. Fletcher. Suddenly, the teens get a message on their phones that 4 of their peers have lost their lives, but the criminal hasn't yet been found. Josh believes it is the work of the Butcher, who has returned after a long absence. In the evening, Millie is to play at the football game. However, she puts on her mascot costume and tries not to react to the taunts of the football players around her. After the match, Millie leaves the school with her friends. Josh offers to drive the girl, but she refuses, deciding to wait for her mother. Almost all the people split up. Millie calls her mother, but she is asleep and cannot pick up the phone. Charlene, who has returned, calls her sister back, but the phone suddenly goes dead. Millie continues to wait for her sister on the bench when she notices a creepy shadow nearby. She guesses from the mask that it is the Butcher in front of her. Millie frightens him by saying that her sister policeman is coming to get her. However, the Butcher continues to advance, and the girl runs away from him screaming. Millie decides to hide under the bleachers and hears the man leaving. She climbs out of the hiding place, however. Butcher turns out to be ready for that. The man attacks Millie and wounds her in the shoulder with a dagger. A wound also appears on his shoulder. The character is saved in time by Charlene, who appears. Her sister calms Millie down and calls an ambulance. The Butcher eventually manages to escape. However, his dagger is taken by the police and placed in a place to store evidence. Returning home, Millie decides to take a bath to relax. At the same time, Charlene has a quarrel with her mother, believing that her sister was attacked because of her irresponsibility. During the night, Millie has horrible nightmares about what happened. Millie wakes up in a strange room. Looking in the mirror, the girl realizes that she is in the body of the Butcher. At the same time, a man is in Millie's body. Her mother and Charlene attribute the strange behavior to the shock after the attack. Millie decides to go outside. However, one of the women recognizes the criminal and wants to call the police. The girl screams with the victim and then tries to escape to avoid going to jail. Millie feels that she smells awful, so she decides to sneak into the school and take a shower. Meanwhile, Butcher is going to school and chooses a very frank outfit. The man pushes away the character's friends and decides to talk to Riley, the local gossip girl, in a secluded place. The girl briefly goes to the toilet and notices Millie washing in the shower room. Riley runs to the Butcher and tells him about it. Then the criminal locks the girl in a cryo chamber, which makes her turn into an ice cube. Millie sees this and realizes she needs to find and warn her friends immediately. Josh and Nyla, of course, get scared of the character, try to hide from her, and even attack back. However, Millie doesn't give up and tries to explain that she is stuck in the body of a criminal. She shows the school mascot dance and also names her favorite movie, series, and snack. Josh and Nyla finally believe the girl, but they can't contain their excitement. The friends try to understand how to help Millie regain her former appearance. With the help of the girl's description, Josh finds a dagger on the internet, which is the reason for everything that happened. The information on it is written in Spanish, and so Millie suggests that the friends ask the teacher to translate the text. The woman tells them that if the sacrifice fails, two souls will switch places. If the ritual isn't performed again in 24 hours, the exchange will be irreversible. Josh proposes that they go to the police station as soon as possible to get the dagger. However, Millie reminds him that the butcher is walking around the school right now and could do terrible things, so it is worth intercepting him. Meanwhile, the man himself is again criticized by Fletcher, this time for his calling appearance. Butcher decides to attack the teacher and starts the saw. However, the man doesn't take into account that he is now an ordinary girl who doesn't have much physical strength. Using a screwdriver, the man still injures Fletcher and then saws him. The butcher goes out into the corridor and sees the character with her friends. With enough ingenuity, the man simply calls for help. Millie and the others have to run very fast to avoid being caught by the worried guards. Josh drives the car in an attempt to escape. However, Charlene starts to follow them. Nyla suggests hiding in a shopping center, and Millie hides in a fitting room. The girl talks to her mother, who works as a consultant. Staying in the shadows, Millie helps the woman realize that her daughters love her very much and will support her in any case. The conversation is interrupted by the appearance of a concerned Charlene. She picks up her mother and soon leaves. Neela arrives at the fitting room and gives the character a mask that will make her harder to recognize. Josh checks Instagram and sees that Butcher has decided to spend the evening with the footballers. Nyla realizes that the guys are in terrible danger and offers to rush to their aid. Meanwhile, Butcher gives Broker a few expressive looks and then walks out into the maze of fear. The boy follows him. Millie and her friends arrive at the right place and try to find the Butcher to stop him. The man follows Broker relentlessly, preparing to attack. At the last moment, Millie manages to save the guy. The girl stuns Broker, who tries to call the police. Then he and Butcher are brought to Josh's house. The character tries to explain to the waking Broker that she is stuck in the man's body. Millie recites a poem she anonymously planted in the guy's locker. Broker believes the character and agrees to help with the ritual. Nyla, together with the guy and the character, is going to go to the police station to steal a dagger. The Butcher needs to be looked after, so Josh should stay home and keep his guard up. Nyla enters the police station where Charlene is waiting for her. The girl lies that the Butcher threatened them and made them drive, and now he's on the other side of the building. Charlene runs outside, and Nyla, meanwhile, intends to steal the dagger. Meanwhile, the character talks to the broker and tells him that she is finally feeling stronger. But the guy thinks that the real power should be in the heart. Broker is convinced that Millie is really just underestimating herself and hiding from problems instead of protecting herself. The guy moves closer to the girl to talk about the poem. Meanwhile, Josh is having difficulties. His mom comes home unexpectedly, and she doesn't understand what's happening. The guy tries to lie about role-playing, but the woman doesn't believe him. The Butcher, meanwhile, gets loose and begins hunting. Josh calls Neela, who has only stolen the dagger. Charlene reveals the girl's maneuver and asks to give the weapon back. Meanwhile, Broker confesses that he has liked the character for a long time. The guy even wants to kiss Millie, but she suggests waiting until she returns herself. Suddenly, the character notices Butcher running into the police station. Broker and Millie try to stop the man. However, Charlene allows the Butcher to escape with a dagger and leads the character to a cage. Josh running into the station distracts the girl, and Millie locks her in the cage for safety. The character and her friends set off in pursuit of Butcher, who is on his way to a school party. A man is trapped by 3 footballers who want to have a good time. The Butcher kills 2 of them with a bottle, and the third is waiting for torture with a chainsaw. Josh notices the criminal and calls Millie for help. Meanwhile, the police arrive at the party and see Neela. Millie confronts the Butcher, who is holding a hook in his hand. Nyla and Josh help disarm the man, but the broker's timer goes off on the character's arm. Millie gets upset that she's lost herself, but then remembers that the guy always sets his watch 5 minutes early. The character sticks a dagger into the Butcher, after which the exchange is reversed. The police officers who arrive stop the criminal with a gun. A reclaimed Millie kisses Broker and hugs her mother, who arrives. An ambulance takes Butcher to the hospital, and he realizes that he has lost his life. However, in fact, the man has just discreetly removed his sensor. Millie is about to go to bed, however, she notices that the door is open for some reason. The girl also hears rustles and decides to check the kitchen. There, Millie falls into the clutches of a criminal. Charlene tries to protect her sister but fails. The butcher has thoughtfully discharged all weapons. Millie's mom suddenly pounces on him. The butcher quickly eliminates them and talks to the character. The man calls Millie a weak and defenseless shadow of Charlene, who only clings to the shadow of her father and listens to the advice of her drunken mother. The girl beats the butcher. At the same time, her mother and Charlene pounce on him. Millie finishes off the policeman's case by stabbing the man with a sharp wooden stick. This is the end of the movie. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this movie, and see you in new videos.